All right, today we're going to dive deep into an ancient system of thought that tries to do something incredible. Build a complete blueprint of reality itself. We're talking about the Vaiśeṣika Philosophy.
And we're going to start with a big one, a question that has puzzled thinkers for literally millennia, and it sits right at the heart of everything. Yeah, what really exists? It sounds so simple, right? But the more you pull at that thread, the more complex and fascinating it becomes.
Just think about it for a second. Is a physical stone you hold in your hand more real than a thought you have about it? What about a shadow? It's just an absence of light, isn't it? Is that real in the same way a cup is? How do you even begin to sort all these different kinds of being out?
Well, way back around the 3rd century BCE, a sage named Kanada decided to take a serious crack at this very problem. He founded the Vaiśeṣika school, which is basically a system designed to categorize every single thing you could possibly experience. It's a philosophy of what's called pluralistic realism, which just means it says, nope, a whole bunch of distinct, independent things are real, rather than trying to boil everything down to just one single source.
So how in the world do you map something as vast as reality itself? Well, the Vaiśeṣika system gives us this brilliant framework using what it calls the padarthas. You can think of these as the fundamental buckets that everything you can possibly know or even just name can be sorted into.
And that word, padartha, literally means the meaning of a word or an object of experience. It's a really cool concept. If you can think it, perceive it, or talk about it, it fits into one of these categories. And this is the crucial part. These aren't just abstract ideas. For Vaiśeṣika, they are the very constituents of our world.
So here they are, the 7 padarthas. Let's do a quick flyby. The first 3 are the most concrete. You've got dravya, or substance. That's the stuff of the world. Then guna, or quality, its properties. And karma, or activity, its motion. Then we get a little more abstract. You have samanya, or generality, which is that shared essence, like the cowness that all cows have. Its opposite is vishesha, particularity, the unique thing that makes every single atom different from all the others. This one is so important, it's where the school gets its name. Then there's samavaya, inherence. Think of it like cosmic glue holding a thing and its properties together. And finally, number 7, which was actually a later addition, abhava, or non-existence. Yes, the reality of an absence.
Okay, let's zoom in on those first 3 categories because they're the most tangible, the real building blocks of how we experience things. And to make this super concrete, we'll just use a simple example, a clay cup.
First up, we have dravya, or substance. This is the foundation, the substratum that holds everything else. In our example, the clay is the substance of the cup. Now, the Vaiśeṣika system says there are 9, and only 9, fundamental substances. You've got the physical ones, earth, water, fire, air, but also the non-physical frameworks like ether, time, and space, and even the components of our own experience, the soul and the mind. The key insight here is that reality is made of both material and immaterial substances.
Next, we have guna, or quality. This separates the what it is from the how it is. Our cup has a certain color, right? Let's say it's reddish-brown, it's got a texture, a weight, and the quality of being one cup. These qualities can't exist on their own. Redness can't just float in the air. It has to inhere in a substance, and this is key, it isn't the substance itself.
The third category is karma, or action. And here, this just means movement. Simple as that. If the cup falls from the table, that falling is an action. If you pick it up, that's an action. Kanada actually breaks all motion into 5 types, but just like qualities, actions need a substance to reside in. A cup can move, but movement itself cannot.
Okay, so we've categorized the cup, its properties, its potential for motion. Seems pretty straightforward. But this is where Vaiśeṣika makes a really radical, fascinating move. It asks us to stop and think about what happens when the cup is not on the table. Is that just nothing, or is it something?
And this brings us to that wild category of abhava, or non-existence. The Vaiśeṣika school argues that the absence of the cup is a perceivable, knowable fact about reality. When you look at the table and you know the cup isn't there, you're having a positive experience of a negative fact. The absence isn't just a void, it's a distinct relational reality. It's its own category of experience. Pretty mind-blowing, right? So we have this really intricate system for classifying everything, from a cup to the absence of a cup. But you might be wondering, what's the point? Well,
This isn't just an intellectual exercise. The Vaiśeṣika school argues that this whole detailed analysis of reality has a profound purpose, one that connects the physical nature of atoms to the spiritual goal of liberation.
At its physical core, Vaiśeṣika is an atomic theory. I mean, it's just stunning how early this was. It says that all physical objects, things made of earth, water, light, and air, are ultimately made of eternal, indivisible atoms called paramanus. This is an amazing formulation of atomism, proposing that the complex world we see is built from fundamental, invisible particles.
And they even had a whole process for how it works. First, two atoms, or paramanus, combine to form a dyad, which is still invisible. Then, three of those dyads combine to form a triad, and that is the smallest visible particle of matter. From these triads, all the objects we see in the world are built up. The entire material world emerges from the lawful combination of these eternal, fundamental particles.
But again, this isn't just physics for its own sake. The whole purpose of this entire system is to achieve moksha, or liberation. This is described as the absolute cessation of pain and freedom from the cycle of birth and rebirth. And what's really crucial here is how you get there. It's not achieved through devotion or ritual, but through the correct knowledge of the true nature of reality, knowledge of these very categories we've been discussing.
And hey, that's not just an interpretation. It's stated right there in the foundational text. The Vaiśeṣika Sutra explicitly says that the supreme good comes from knowing the essence of these categories. The idea is that by understanding what the self truly is, a substance totally distinct from the body, the mind, and its qualities, you can untangle yourself from the suffering caused by misidentification and ignorance.
So, what is the lasting impact of all this? How does this school of thought actually ask us to see the world differently?
Well, Vaiśeṣika is often paired with its sister school, Nyaya, and the relationship is perfectly complementary. Think of it this way. Nyaya provides the tools of logic. It answers the question, how can we know things correctly? Then Vaiśeṣika takes those tools and builds its system of what's real. It answers the question, so what are the things that we can know? Ultimately, Vaiśeṣika is a testament to the power of analysis. It argues that by meticulously breaking down our experience into its most basic components, substances, qualities, actions, even absences, we can achieve a clear and true understanding of the world. It's all about replacing confusion with a structured, intelligible map of reality.
But it does leave us with a pretty profound question to chew on. This is a radically pluralistic system. It doesn't reduce everything down to one single principle. Instead, it affirms that all these different things, atoms, souls, time, space, are uniquely real. So, if the world is made of so many fundamentally different things, what holds it all together? Where is the unity in this vast categorized diversity?
And maybe the answer isn't in finding some external unity, but in the goal of the system itself. Maybe the unity is found in the path, the singular purpose of knowledge. Because in the world of Vaiśeṣika, the most profound truth is that by clearly and accurately knowing the nature of things, the soul finally attains its freedom. It's such a powerful idea that clarity about the world outside can lead to liberation for the self within. Thanks for joining this explainer.